Hello beloveds. Let's talk about why understanding nuance is key to understanding New Earth energetics. We're moving from a state of consciousness that's been largely engrossed in and concerned with superficial, tangible expressions of reality. This has manifested itself as humanity working in and operating in generalizations, sweeping generalizations, binaries, black and white, bad and good, and ultimately homogenization of the species in terms of our needs and what's valuable, in terms of what success looks like, in terms of what the right paradigm to work from is. In the West, that's capitalism, and it's favouring patriarchy. So we've kind of been conditioned to normalize and favour the superficial, the gross, the tangible, and this plays into the system of patriarchy and the beast machine, which views everything in a very mechanistic way. Everything is mechanistic, it's a machine. Humanity and each individual within the human collective is just a cog in that machine. There is no real room for individualization, there's no room for nuance, there's no room for the micro, there's no room for the uniqueness of each individual and their unique architecture. The beast machine has favoured the fallen matrix. But New Earth energetics are built upon nuance, are built upon the acknowledgement of the subtle, are built upon the acknowledgement of the micro, how the micro weaves the macro, how the micro and understanding those subtle, smaller details, unique differences, variables, actually plays an essential role in understanding and weaving a more coherent, larger tapestry. So there are many places we could look out in life and at the world and see examples of this. Health, I think health and nutrition is one of these areas where humanity has a long way to go in understanding how nuanced diet and health is for each individual, because most of humanity is not considering the subtleties of what we're experiencing right now on Earth, the subtle shifts of vibration and frequency, the subtle ways in which matter is starting to vibrate differently. You know, these are elements overlooked within the current control system paradigm because there is no care for the individual. So the current healthcare system reflects this. It is not a healthcare system, it is a system of sickness. It is a system that essentially has created a funnel for the big pharma drug cartels to constantly have a food supply, and by food supply I mean energy resource supply in the form of sick people who need to pay for medication. So health is a classic example of the homogenization of humanity. You're a human and I'm a human. If you've got this disease, you need this chemical drug. I'm as a doctor, I'm programmed within this current beast system matrix to understand when you come to me with certain symptoms, I present you with certain drugs. It is not a system of health, it is a system of sickness, and it is a system of symptom management, because the drug cartel doesn't benefit if you're healthy, nor does it benefit if you're dead. They like to keep us in that sweet spot between vitality and being completely disembodied and no longer alive at all. So when it comes to health and healing and food, for example, we see this all the time. How there is this homogenization that, you know, the body is viewed mechanistically in the mainstream paradigm, and that there are blanket approaches, blanket solutions presented in the form of symptom management and in the form of masquerading the true root cause and not dealing with the root cause, nor dealing with prevention. It's just management, symptom management, and denial and avoidance. The New Earth energetics require us to acknowledge that there are universal truths, that there are universal shared qualities amongst us as a species here on Earth as humans, and simultaneously there are also unique variables, energetic differentiations that deviate one being from another. And no two beings are the same. The beast machine has programmed humanity to think that, you know, ultimately every being is just a being, right? We're all just human beings, and the human being we think we know the potential of, the capabilities of, the capacities of the human being, and that is to be a wage slave. That's what we've been programmed to think is normal. New Earth energetics is, of course, awakening us out of this enslavement matrix paradigm, awakening us, making us lucid to the fact that we've been heavily programmed. And then as we awaken, we naturally become, and decondition, we naturally become more attuned to the subtle. We naturally become more attuned to the web of life, to the interconnectedness of all things. This just comes part and parcel when you awaken. When you start to become more embodied, when you start to honor your own individuation as both the one, as both an expression of the one and simultaneously a unique individuation of the one, true source, you understand the paradox that yes, we're all human, and simultaneously within this unique embodiment, I am my unique energetics, my unique soul blueprint. I have unique needs, goals, evolutionary themes to work through, evolutionary paths to explore. This is reflected in systems like astrology, like human design, like gene keys, where the subtle is actively highlighted, brought to the forefront, where the subtle and the nuance and the uniqueness are not disregarded as annoying detail, but emphasized as key differentiating factors that allow us to know ourselves deeply. Now, of course, this extends beyond health and food and diet. I'm just using this as an example. Every aspect of our experience within the New Earth energetic template is asking us to acknowledge the nuance of all life, the nuance of all beings, the nuance of each and every now moment. It's a very quantum space, the New Earth. It is an acknowledgement of and a marriage with what's present here and now. Ultimate truth. Not adhering to ideologies, not adhering to paradigms and constructs created by the mind and by logic and reason, but attuning to a truth that is beyond mental, intellectual, thought, conjuring. Vibrational truth, frequency truth, the truth of energy, the truth that underpins physical, gross, material reality. So when we consider this, we must acknowledge that we can never know the way for another person. We can never purport to know the way for another person, the best way for another. We can never know what is true and right and felt and understood and digested by another. We can seek to understand through inquiry, through conscious communication and communion with the other. But the only truth we can ever really know is the truth that we embody and connect with directly ourselves. So another key area this is going to show up in is in our relationships. It is a recognition that when we understand the subtle tapestry underpinning all life, we recognize that, gosh, that individual may have a different set of connotations, a different definition of the word that I've just used. Perhaps it would be helpful for me to understand what their definition of this word means, so that we are communicating in a state of coherence, right? When we operate from this paradigm of the gross and the tangible and being locked into a very superficial layer of reality, we make gross assumptions, we make gross generalizations, we make sweeping statements, because we're operating from the mind, we're operating from programming. The mind, the conditioned mind, the lower mind, the thinking mind, the rampant monkey mind, works in binaries, bad, good, dark, light. It is this very kind of left brain, heavily programmed masculine aspect and hemisphere of the consciousness that is looking for structure and order and reason and efficiency, and it does that through programming. By operating within programmed grooves, right? It's less effortful when you're operating from programmed grooves. It's just autopilot ways of being. This has been the predominant paradigm on Earth. Humanity has been operating from this space of just standardized ways of being. So what does that do to the individual? It bulldozes over their unique needs. It bulldozes over their unique values. It bulldozes over their unique boundaries, their unique dreams, desires, visions, soul blueprint. It bulldozes over individuality, which it's been designed to. This current paradigm that's now collapsing has been designed to bulldoze over the unique expression, soul frequency of each individual, to see that each expression of the one, every tree, every bird, every blade of grass, every nuanced expression is valuable. Every being is valuable in their nuance, in their uniqueness. That there is a lesson and learning and richness in variation. That we can learn so much when we respect and honor the individuation of consciousness, that we can grow so much through that contrast. But we've been programmed into this homogenized state to see, well, all grass is just grass, all trees are just trees, all birds are just birds. Seen one bird, seen all birds. I've heard this a lot in people when they go out into nature, when they're not particularly connected or attuned to their own bodies and also to their reality. It's just another field, it's just another mountain, it's just another valley. This is the programming talking. When we are tuned out of the subtle and we are viewing our life from this program conditioned lens of blanket statements, blanket generalizations, autopilot ways of relating, yeah, of course, everything starts looking the same. It's just a homogenization program. So the New Earth energetic template is built upon a foundational and fundamental understanding of nuance. That what you need to be healthy on your unique journey as a soul, on an evolutionary path, with your unique karmic retribution and rectification process to move through, with your unique dharmic learning, growth, expansion path to move through, with your unique energy type, your unique genetic makeup, the body that you've inherited and inhabited, the current state of health you're in, right? The nuance looks at, well, perhaps a healthy diet. If you had a pristine environment, pristine conditions your entire life, and then you got to 20 years old, maybe we would say that an ideal diet, I don't know, would be raw vegan. I'm not saying it is, I'm just using that as an example. Or keto, whatever. We could say that there's one ideal diet if you'd had pristine conditions your entire life. But no one on earth has had pristine conditions their entire life. Each individual has experienced their own unique set of circumstances, been exposed to their own unique set of toxic pollutants and environmental factors, experienced their own emotional and traumatic incidents, and carry their own imprints from those experiences that alter their nervous system capacity, their immune system response. Do you see what I'm getting at? That nuance accounts for all of these things. That perhaps in an ideal world, if we were all raised conscious and everything was, coherent and working in synergy, there would be an ultimate and ideal way for us to eat and be and live, and it would look quite harmonized. It would look similar for many of us, but that's not where we are. We must acknowledge that we have come from radically different environments, radically different experiences, that we have actually come in at this time on Earth to harmonize the energetics of Earth, but we're not there yet. We are the bridging populations, we are the bridging teams that have come into form to support the migration from the old beast system, the fallen matrix, to the new Earth energetics, to the golden age, being anchored and built, created, experienced on Earth. And in order for us to do that effectively, we have to acknowledge where we've been, where we want to go, the nuance of all of that. This is, as I've said, this can be felt in our health, this can be felt in our relationships. If we took the time, if we truly took the time to understand each individual's unique set of circumstances, where they've come from, their programming, their attachment programming, their views, their paradigms, their value systems, so many assumptions could be mitigated. So many arguments, conflicts, points of contention could be smoothed out. So much more harmony could be established in relationships if we actually took the time to acknowledge and get curious about the nuance of the individual in front of us, rather than projecting our own needs and expectations and assumptions and standards onto them. But we can only relate in that way once we've done the inner work. This is what my New Earth relationship template workshop and webinar over 2 days is going to cover. Details for that in the description box below. Understanding nuance really is the key to understanding New Earth energetics. If you're highly clairsentient, or you have any of your clairs highly developed and activated, you are, psychically attuned in a visual capacity, audio capacity, sensory capacity with your feelings, or you can feel the field with your sense of gnosis, claircognizance, then you will already be some way to supporting this being anchored on Earth. When we are psychically attuned, and we are attuned beyond the 5 sense perception system, and we're operating with widened capacity, with heightened awareness, we naturally become more attuned to the subtle. Empaths, highly sensitive people that identify as starseeds, lightworkers, they naturally have these kind of more highly attuned systems for various reasons. A lot of the time because they've endured trauma and they've had to become hypervigilant of their environments, and that has in some ways developed their psychic and clair abilities more at an early age. But there was it was a response to a need and a demand. Some people are just born wide open, born with that sensitivity. I believe that most beings, if not all beings, come onto this earth into form from a state of oneness that is experienced in the womb, and need gentle, tender passage through their birthing process and how they are brought into the world of form and individuation. Most people do not experience that. Even the nuance of your birth story, the nuance of your time in the womb, what state of coherence your mother was in, your father was in, how healthy was the mother, how healthy was the womb space, how clean was it, how much fear was being was present in the field that you were gestating in. What was her nutrition like? What was the birthing process like? The nuances of this, in and of itself, just the birthing process, has the potential to impact a person's entire trajectory and incarnation. That's how much nuance matters. That it is not just a blade of grass. It is not just a mole that's forming on your hand. As I've been educating myself about insulin resistance, I recognize that these are scratches, but there are these little red dots that started to appear over my skin. If we're looking at just health from a generalized, standardized point of view, they're just red dots. They just come with age, you know? They're just these sweeping, ignorant statements that we make. No, they are a sign of insulin resistance. The body is innately woven and created from a fabric and architecture of the subtle. The body registers everything. Nothing is missed to this beautiful intelligence system. Every sound, every, the quality of light that we absorb, the quality of the energetic environments we're in, the quality of the foods we're eating, how we're eating the foods. In my course, The 5 Pillars of Self-Love, I dive into this in the needs section especially, just getting us to kind of focus on and become aware of our unique needs, our unique nuanced needs as beings. Because until we understand this, we're going to keep bulldozing over our unique old blueprint, favouring homogenization and generalizations and standardization, which is the old paradigm. We're transitioning now. Understanding nuance is the key to understanding the new earth. Nuance is subtlety. Nuance is energy. Nuance is what underpins the superficial, tangible, physical layer of reality. How do we understand nuance? We have to be present. We have to become embodied. We have to embody these vessels. We cannot understand nuance from the mind. We cannot understand nuance and subtlety from the mental faculty. We have to come into this body. We have to be attuned to the now moment, then to our sensory perceptions, then to our extrasensory perceptions, where we can then start to expand our awareness and connect to the subtle field, to the unified field, to the quantum field. So, if you understand this innately within your being, if this, what I'm speaking about, comes very naturally to you, you're here to help teach and guide on this in some way. The one thing I want to leave with as I close this video is how this relates to our spiritual path. It is a recognition that there is not one way. There is not one standardized way we are here to awaken. There are endless paths of initiation. There are endless paths of awakening. Our task as leaders, guides, facilitators, teachers, creators of the New Earth paradigm is to awaken to this energetic architecture that I'm speaking of nuance, of individualization, healthy individualization that honors both the individual and the all as one, that understands that the one true source has chosen to individuate through every single form expression that we see and understand. That there is a paradox at play, and that we do not reach a state of union by bypassing individualization. We reach union through the individualization, through marrying awareness to this individualized form, this individualized vantage point, becoming so innately aware of this vantage point, this unique experience, And through that, awakening to the fact that when I awaken to this, I awaken to all of life being reflected back to me. The one reflecting itself back to me through unique forms. So when it comes to the spiritual path, our task as leaders and teachers and guides, creators, pioneers, innovators, is to support the rest of humanity, or whoever is going to come on this journey with us to the new earth, to building the new earth and shaping the new earth, co-creating it. Our task is to support them to understand their unique blueprint, to fulfill their unique role on earth, to move through their unique incarnation journey and story. The non-dual zombie school, which is like a community that seems to be really present, especially on YouTube, of individuals that are disembodied, that are accessing non-duality from a very disembodied state. It's like, there is no one, there is nothing, all is one. This is not the union template. This is not the template that I work from. So if you are someone that is innately intent on just learning about non-duality, you're on the wrong channel. My understanding of non-duality comes through a lens of deep embodiment. That I can carry a heightened state of awareness, and I can also be deeply embodied, deeply awake within my individuation. That they are not mutually exclusive. And when we are walking this path of the template of union, it is the marriage of the human and the divine. It is the marriage of opposites. We are here to support humanity to awaken to both oneness and the uniqueness of individuality. So if you have come here to support this migration in some way, that is part of the work. How can you support your communities, your friends, your family, your partner, the people around you, your unique mission, dharma work, your children, however that expresses, whether it's through your art, your cooking, your gardening, your engineering, whatever you do physically, tangibly, it starts with the energetics. How can you be an embodiment of this wisdom? And then how do you wish to share this wisdom with the world? How do you wish to communicate it, to emanate it? So that we are no longer trying to force people into roles and down paths that are not for them, because we are not them. We are supporting them to find their own way, to awaken to their unique way, and the fact that they are masters in training and they have the capacity to awaken to their own way. Not seeing them as ignorant children, not seeing the people around us as behind or less than, and that we need to be above them, and that we are beyond them, recognizing that actually no, every soul is on its unique journey, and if we carry awareness, if we are awake and lucid in this dream, it is our responsibility to support others to awaken to their unique divine truth, which at the objective level is a truth we are all unified in, that we are all worthy, all unique, and yet all love, all truth, all light, all radiant, all divine. It's and both. You are both a unique embodiment of the cosmos, and simultaneously, in your truest essence, you are the radiant, luminous emanation of the one true source. As I am, as every single being and emanation is on this planet. So our task is to be able to embody this paradox, which is the path of union, and then find our own unique way of communicating this wisdom, sharing this wisdom, so that we can begin to build the bridge, continue to build the bridge, and support humanity to migrate from a very unconscious, asleep state to an awake, lucid, attuned state. Thank you for being here with me, light workers, light warriors, starseeds, New Earth architects. You are so appreciated, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next transmission.